Essentially, what he was saying is discipline is doing what you have to do even if you don't feel like it, right? And I tell everyone this. Discipline is how you start something, but most important, discipline is how you finish something. And for me, discipline is so important. Discipline, to me, defines who I am. And a lot of people mistake discipline for motivation, right? And you could not be any more off. Our work as Christian athletes begins when motivation ends. And I'm going to tell you guys a quick story. By the time I was 12 years old, I lived in 7 different apartments, in 5 different cities, in 2 different countries. We was always moving because we didn't have nothing stable in our life. We didn't have the money. And when I was 12 years old, my mom was diagnosed with cancer, and I had to quit the club team that I had to play for. This is a story you don't hear too often, right? You don't hear stories of kids quitting an AAU team and making it out. You hear stories of kids joining an organization and making it out. So when I tell you odds were stacked against me and my family, it really was. Every day I would come home from school at 3 p.m., make sure my mom was doing good, make sure she was fighting for her life, she was okay. I would grab a soccer ball, I would go into my backyard, practice by myself until it got too dark, until I couldn't see the ball no more. Ain't nobody motivating me then. I'm doing God's work, it's just me and God out there. But those are the moments that made me who I am today. It's easy to wake up at 10 a.m. and go to work out at 11 a.m. feeling fresh. That's motivation. Motivation's beautiful, motivation's attractive, but motivation's never enough. The real work that counts is when your alarm goes off at 5 in the morning, you got to get to a workout, 7th workout of the week, and you're not seeing no results. And motivation waking you up then is discipline. And I was introduced to a Bible verse when I was 17 years old. It was Jeremiah 29:11. It says, "For another plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you, not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future." And it's so unique to me because I had to understand that God's plan for me was a lot bigger than the plans I have set for myself. But I can only follow that plan that God has set for me through discipline. And the most important part about discipline is if you have discipline, you keep your dream alive, whatever dream it may be. You have the opportunity to keep your dream alive, and sometimes that's all we can do as Christians. All we can do is keep our dreams alive. But the next step is making your dream into a reality, right? We all want to play at that next level. And so I'm going to ask you guys this. What do you guys think is the second core value that I learned in my life? Yes. Determination. That's good. I like it. What else? Yes. Hard work goes with discipline, right? Discipline and hard work are back and forth, so I love that. What were you going to say? Patience is huge, right? Whenever you're injured, I was injured, I had to be patient. The second core value I learned is courage. As Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, take that leap of faith even if you don't see the entire staircase. I tell everyone this, behind every iconic moment, behind every historical moment that we talk about is an act of courage. There was a barrier of fear that we had to get over, but we can only do so through courage. In 2018, I got a phone call that changed my life. It changed my life. I was playing at the University of Akron at that time. I got a phone call from my father. He said, "Hey son, the organization you kept sending your highlight tapes to, they want to finally offer you a professional contract." A life-changing moment for me. I decided to take it. Outside looking in, it's glorious, right? It's everything I've ever worked for. It's a dream come true, but this is the part nobody talks about. Nobody talks about the ugliness in the success. What I mean by that is nobody talks about me having to walk into a locker room full of teammates and tell them that I was going to forego my junior and senior year to make a selfish decision and go on and play professionally, to a group of guys that went on to lose in the NCAA Division I National Championship that year. Nobody talks about me having to clean my entire apartment, put everything into 2 suitcases, knowing my life was going to change. Nobody talks about the quiet car ride to the airport when I know my life's going to change. But these are the moments that build character. And I still remember we're waiting in line at TSA. It's my father and I. And he says, "Hey son, are you okay?" And for those of you that don't know me, I'm a quiet guy. But in that moment, I was more quiet than usual. He noticed it because parents notice everything. And so he asked me again, "Hey son, are you sure you're all right?" In that moment, I was going to a country I've never been to. I was going to a country where I didn't know anyone. I was going to a country where I didn't speak the language, so I had every right to be scared. And I was terrified. And so I said, "Yeah, Dad, I'm scared." He said something to me that changed my life, and I truly mean this. It changed my life. He said, "Hey son, It's okay to be afraid. But sometimes the fear doesn't go away. You just got to do it afraid. And I'll say it again because repetition is key to memorization. He says, son, it's okay to be afraid, but sometimes the fear doesn't go away. You just got to do it afraid. And it's as if he had given me a whole new perspective to life, and I got to see life for what it was truly worth. A few weeks later, I had the opportunity of being the first ever Asian athlete in the history of the organization. A historical moment for the organization, a historical moment for me. But I was only able to do so because my faith was bigger than my fears. Behind anything that we want in life, it takes an act of courage. I read a Bible verse in Isaiah not too long ago, and I have a unique relationship with it. It says, for no weapon formed against me shall prosper. And I have a unique relationship with the Bible verse because I kept reading it wrong at first. I kept reading it as if it said, for no weapon will formed against me. But it doesn't say that. It says, for no weapon formed against me shall prosper. If anything, weapons will form against me. Obstacles will come my way. Challenges will come my way. But as long as I kept my faith in God, I had the opportunity of overcoming it. And rightfully did. Like I said, behind every historical moment, life-changing moment is an act of courage.